Welcome back to Queen City Country. I'm Adam Wartell. Our next guest knows a thing or two about jukebox songs. We're going to talk about that and what all that means. Drake Milligan joins us now here on Queen City Country. Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Now, I have a quote here before we start. On your About section, on your website, it says, a student of classic country music with the swagger of early rock and roll. Tell us what that means and what your music's inspired by.
I love classic country music. I love the history of country music. Since I moved to Nashville, I really started diving in. You know, being in Nashville, being around all these places where my favorite songs are written, diving into who wrote my favorite songs and who played on my favorite songs. It's just fun. So I've kind of become a study of that. And also too, I mean, my biggest influences, I would say, are kind of that classic country. Of course, guys like George Strait, being from Texas. And then one of my biggest influences is Elvis. So, you know, it wasn't until I saw clips of Elvis that I decided that's what I want to do. I want to entertain people and sing. And so I guess, you know, a lot of my influence comes from Elvis and his performing style and a lot of that, yeah.
A lot of people can say they like Elvis. Not a lot of people can say they played Elvis. You were on CMT's amazing show, Sun Records, along with Billy Gardell and Chad Michael Murray.
Yeah.
So what was it like being such a fan of the King to be cast as the King?
It was awesome. I mean, I got casted right out of high school. I was 17 years old. I went to an open call audition in Memphis and left high school to go work on this TV show with all these big stars. And it was just awesome. We got to film in Memphis, so I got to see, you know, Elvis's high school, and we filmed there, and just see all these places and walk the streets that Elvis walked. And I got to step into those blue suede shoes for a while, which was really cool. So, and it was just great. The cast was amazing. They were all so nice. We all became friends. I got to play the music live. I got to sing and play everything on the show, on all my parts. So, great learning experience, and you know, stuff I still use to this day.
You have a new EP out. It's called Jukebox Songs, and I love it because all 4 tracks on the album are very different. Talk about these specific 4 tracks, because when you're picking just 4, that's got to be hard to narrow it down.
It's tough. It's tough. But this is considered my sophomore project, really. You know, my first record, Dallas Fort Worth, came out a couple years ago, and you know, it's kind of that thing of how do I pick stuff? You know, do I totally turn a corner? Do I try to go in a different direction? Do I just do the same old thing? And really for me, it's just finding out. The thing that's always kept me going since I moved to Nashville is trying to find songs that feel classic or nostalgic to me. A lot of country music is nostalgia, right? When I hear a song or write a song that makes me takes me back, you know, it makes me feel maybe it's nostalgic or I feel like sometimes I'll listen to a song and be like, how has this not been written yet? And that's always what kind of keeps me going. That's my North Star as far as when I'm looking for songs or writing songs. I want to find those songs that feel classic and feel like timeless. And so trying to name this EP, you know, and that's always what I'm looking for. So trying to name this EP, I was, you know, kind of looking at song titles. I thought, what do I call it? And I saw Jukebox Songs from the song that's on it, Jukebox Songs, the Barstool Beers. And I go, man, there it is, you know, because that's always what I'm looking for, is those classic songs that would fit in on a jukebox somewhere in a corner of Texas.
I always remember the first song I heard on a jukebox was at a diner where I'm from on Long Island, New York. It was Buddy Holly, Peggy Sue.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. See, great. Classic songs and rock and roll, country are kind of the songs we think of, those early, you know, jukebox songs.
When you're writing a song, what comes first, the melody or the lyrics?
It depends. It's totally, sometimes it's a lyric, sometimes it's a start of a verse. Sometimes it's a melody. I love melodies. So a lot of times I'll sit with a guitar and I'll kind of try to come up with a melody. A lot of the times first, but sometimes it's a line that'll spark a melody. But I just love classic melodies. I'm such a fan of guys like Roy Orbison, who had these amazing melodies, and that's something I'd love to see a lot more of in today's music, for sure.
Have to talk about America's Got Talent, 2022 semi-finalist, and then they invited you back for America's Got Talent Fantasy League, which aired this year. Talk about this experience, and I've always wondered, like, you know you're good, right? So, like, what is it like when you're standing under those X's? Do you still get nervous going, they could hit this buzzer?
Nobody's above the buzzer. That's what I always say, man. Nobody's above that buzzer. It's always kind of looming there. You never know. All it takes is one bad performance, bad note to get the buzzer. So it's in the back of your mind, but I mean, it is scary. Being up on that stage, doing a live show, especially, is, I mean, because it is truly live, and you know, it's count down from 10 and don't mess up the words, and so it's kind of scary, but at the same time, when you get done with the performance, after all my performances, it was kind of addictive, because I felt like, oh my gosh, I pulled it off, I did it right. Didn't get the buzzer. It's a great feeling, you know, and it makes me want to keep on going back and doing that, and it just makes it gave me a lot of confidence too going on in my career, thinking, okay, now I can go perform on some big stages, because I mean, that's one of the world's biggest right there.
Let's take the presidents off of Mount Rushmore for a second. So you have to pick 4. Who's on your country music Mount Rushmore?
Oh man, I mean, first of all, up there is Merle Haggard. Merle Haggard's my number one. I probably have to do George Strait up there too. Boy, that's leaving some room there. I mean, you got to have Hank Williams Sr. up there, and then for me, oh gosh, that's a tough one, but. And I've always been such a big, as far as influences go too, Alan Jackson's always been a huge influence on me and his music, so for me, that's my Mount Rushmore.